Got me Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to seek your indulgence because a number of persons who were expecting to be here are not here as yet. I know that the traffic in Kingston with so many roads, it is really horrendous. And I don't like to punish people who come early, but this time I'm going to ask for your indulgence. So, because of the exceptional circumstances. So, bear with us. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning again. I am Archibald Campbell, Chairman of JMMB Group Limited, and I now call this meeting to order and extend a warm welcome to all, including shareholders and other stakeholders joining us virtually. We know that it was a challenge getting here today because of the traffic around Kingston, so we are thankful for the time that you gave us to defer, but I think we should start now, and the others will actually join us as they come, and we will understand the reason why they are not on time today. I welcome you to the 12th Annual General Meeting of the JMMB Group Limited. A special welcome to shareholders and other stakeholders joining us virtually. We are pleased that over 200 persons have registered to join us virtually. Let us stand for the national anthem of Jamaica. Please join us in prayer as I ask Mrs. Sophia Huslin to offer prayers on our behalf. Sophia?
Yes, sir.
No.
Good morning, everyone. Quiet our hearts as we pray. Most loving and righteous God, we thank you for this, another beautiful day that you've given unto us. Father, as we are gathered here another year, God, to discuss the affairs of JMMB and to celebrate that which you have done. Father, we give you thanks, for indeed you have been faithful, you have been good to us. Mighty God, we thank you for our leaders, Father, that you have handpicked, Father God, that you have appointed, and Father God, that you have given the mandate. And Lord, we thank you that you continue to strengthen, you continue to lead, you continue to guide. Father, we thank you for our shareholders. We thank you, God, for our clients. We thank you for our team members. We thank you, mighty God, that you continue the good work that you have started, oh God, and you are faithful to bring it to completion. Mighty God, as we go through this day, we pray, God, that everything that is said and done will be done to your honor and to your glory. And when we would have departed from each other, that we would have been truly blessed by what it is that you will do in the years to come. We give you thanks again. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sophia. I now ask that we remain silent for a minute for our clients, shareholders, friends, and family members who we lost during the year. Starting now. Eternal rest grant unto them, and let perpetual light shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Amen. As you know, it's a JMMB meeting. We start with a vision of love, and we will in fact be having it from Jamaica, Trinidad, and Dominican Republic. And therefore, I will now ask Maria Tulsi from Trinidad and Tobago, Eddie Tinio from the Dominican Republic, and Sean King Ferguson from Jamaica to do a paragraph of the vision.
The atmosphere that JMMB is in the process of developing may be defined as an energy field where overlapping circles of creativity, passion, excitement, fun, and laughter coexist in a dynamic process that ultimately leads to higher and higher levels of self-actualization, hence the achievement of the organizational mission. This is a loving, caring, and honest atmosphere where ideas are valued and shared openly, where a balance is created between aspirations and practical aspects of work and life, between actualization and potential. There is no fear, no limitations, no boundaries.
JMMB is seeking to create an organizational environment in which team players can achieve their full potential. Accordingly, the teams at JMMB are committed to a long-term, ongoing process of holistic development that recognizes the complete development of the individual. JMMB is therefore a medium through which individuals may have dreams for themselves and can extend those dreams beyond the organization into an infinite, prosperous, and abundant society and universe. Each person is loving and respectful of each other and represents an important link in a chain of love, serving each other, sharing ideas, building each other. Hence, the JMMB vision is shared by all team players.
I believe so strongly in myself that I will not get defensive by criticism, as I know that every experience is an opportunity for growth. I will nurture and build my fellow team players. I will use every opportunity to praise and give thanks. I embrace the uncertainty that forms a part of my vision. I have a strong enough faith to know that everything that happens along my path happens for a reason, and that all things work together for my good. Thank you.
Thanks to Maria, Eddie, and Sean. I now invite Ms. Carolyn Da Costa, our Corporate Secretary, to read the notice convening the meeting.
Thanks. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Notice is hereby given that the 12th Annual General Meeting of JMMB Group Limited, the company, will be held on Friday, October 10, 2025 at 10 a.m. Jamaica time in a hybrid format, one at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel Kingston, located at 81 Knutsford Boulevard, Kingston 5, Jamaica, for attendance in person, and two, via electronic means in accordance with the provisions of the Companies Act of Jamaica 2004 as amended. to consider and, if thought fit, to pass the following ordinary resolutions. Resolution 1, to receive the reports of the directors and the auditors and the audited accounts for the 12 months ended March 31st, 2025. That the reports of the directors and auditors and the audited accounts for the year ended March 31st, 2025, circulated with the notice convening the meeting, be and are hereby adopted. Resolution 2, to reappoint directors retiring by rotation pursuant to Article 105. The directors retiring from office by rotation pursuant to Article 105 of the company's Articles of Incorporation are Mr. Hugh Wayne Powell, Mr. Wayne Sutherland, Mrs. Audrey Wells, and Mr. Vinroy Andrew White, all of whom, being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. Resolution 2A, that Mr. Hugh Wayne Powell be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Resolution 2B, that Mr. Wayne Sutherland be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Resolution 2C, that Mrs. Audrey Wells be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. And Resolution 2D, that Mr. Vinroy Andrew White be and is hereby re-elected a director of the company. Resolution 3, election of directors of other retiring director pursuant to Article 108. In accordance with Article 108 of the Articles of Incorporation, the following director, having been appointed during the year, retires and is now eligible for re-election. The resolution that Mr. Johan Haven, having been reappointed during the year, be and is hereby elected a director of the company. Resolution 4, to appoint auditors and authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. That KPMG Chartered Accountants, having agreed to continue in office as auditors, be and are hereby appointed auditors of the company to hold office until the end of the next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be fixed by the directors of the company. And Resolution 5, to approve directors' remuneration, that the amount included in the audited accounts of the company for the year ended March 31st, 2025, as remuneration for their services as director, be and is hereby approved, dated on the 22nd day of July, 2025, by the Board of Directors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Da Costa. I now take the opportunity to introduce to you the members of the board who are also joining, as well as those who are joining, I introduce to you now the persons who are here, and I'll also be letting you aware of those who are online. From my right at the table, Mr. Wayne Powell, or you heard his name, Hugh Wayne Powell. Mrs. Donna Duncan Scott. Mr. Dennis Harris. And I'll jump over the next person for the time being. And then Mr. Reese Kong. And Ms. Da Costa, who you have already met. Moving over to those on the left, and you could never call them leftists, Mrs. Audrey Wells, Mr. Leighton McKnight, Mrs. Narisha Davis Farquharson, Mr. Andrew White, Mrs. Audrey Dare Williams, Mr. Wayne Sutherland, and Mr. Johan Heaven. And where's Miss D'Souza, our Deputy Corporate Secretary, Ms. D'Souza, I have apologies for Dr. Ancrick, who had a prior commitment that could not be rescheduled, and Mr. Andrew Cockin, who is online, and I won't tell you why he couldn't make it today. You would laugh, right? So, Andrew, I hope you're enjoying the meeting. Now, protocols for the meeting. Persons joining online may send questions to AGM_questions@jmmb.com. Let me repeat. Persons joining online may send questions to AGM_questions@jmmb.com. Questions sent prior to the meeting. For those questions sent in prior to the meeting and which relate to the business. Oh, I said I would leave somebody for last, and here it is, I moved on. Memory not gone. But totally now, to really, I'm proud to introduce this person. And in the past, I just normally call him by name, right? But today, we have seen someone who has been recognized by Jamaica and who will continue to serve our country while remaining our CEO, Senator, the Honorable Keith P. Duncan. We're proud of him. And JMMB is proud too. Later on, we'll introduce you to another senator who is connected to JMMB. So, Keith? Yeah. So now we go back. Questions sent prior to the meeting. For those questions sent in prior to the meeting and which relate to the business under consideration at the meeting, we will address them during the question and answer session. In the event that they are not addressed in the meeting by the end of the allotted meeting time, we will respond to you via email within 3 working days after the AGM. Questions from shareholders present. You may raise your hand, and when acknowledged, you may ask your question. In an attempt to make this AGM as succinct as possible, we ask that you limit your questions to 2, as this is a hybrid meeting. We will endeavor to end by 2 p.m. Hence, we need to use our time efficiently. And if time permits, you may ask additional questions. Members whose votes were already cast via proxy will not vote. Only those members who have not yet voted shall vote electronically at the time a vote is called. We will permit a 30-second period after each resolution is tabled to facilitate the voting process for the remaining members who are voting now. Only ordinary shareholders are permitted to vote at the AGM. I just repeat that. I know a number of you also have preference shares, but it's only the ordinary shareholders who are permitted to vote at the AGM. Shareholders joining in person will vote via a raise of hands. All voting will count, as voting will count your votes At voting, we will count your votes and add to the votes on the virtual platform to get the final count of the votes and present the results. Minutes of the AGM of 2024. I take the opportunity to inform you that the share register and articles of incorporation are available for inspection by members. The minutes of last year's meeting is also available should you require a copy. We now move to the auditor's report, and I now invite Mrs. Karen Ragbur Singh of KPMG to read the auditor's report to the members.
Good morning. Independent Auditor's Report to the members of JMMB Group Limited. Report on the audit of the financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the separate financial statements of JMMB Group Limited, the company, and the consolidated financial statements of the company and its subsidiaries, the group, set out on pages 9 to 121, which comprise the group's and the company's statements of financial position as at 31 March 2025, the group's profit or loss account, the group's and the company's statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, changes in stockholders' equity and cash flows for the year then ended, and notes comprising material accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the group and the company as at 31 March 2025, and the group's and the company's financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, IFRS Accounting Standards, and in the manner required by the Jamaican Companies Act. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with International Standards on Auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of our report. We are independent of the group and the company in accordance with the International Ethics Standard Board for Accountants, International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including International Independent Standards, IESBA Code, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESBA Code. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Page 2, key audit matters. Key audit matters are those matters that in our professional judgment were of most significance in our audit of the financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statements as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. 1. Fair value of investments. A significant portion of the group's investment securities measured at fair value are instruments for which quoted prices are not available. Valuation of these investments, although based on mainly observable market inputs, requires a significant estimation. The group used valuation techniques which involve inputs such as market yields obtained from established yield curves which are impacted by uncertainty of market factors. Though market conditions have improved, there has been continued volatility of prices in various markets, which has increased estimation risk for yields and prices used in determining fair values. The significant estimation uncertainty in deriving these yields and prices increases the risk of material misstatement, and hence this is an area of increased audit focus. How was the matter addressed in the audit? Our procedures in the main in this area included the following: assessing and testing the design and operating effectiveness of the group's controls over the determination and computation of fair values, assessing the reasonableness of significant assumptions used by the group, involving our own valuation specialists to assist us to determine or obtain yields or prices of specific securities and comparing these yield or prices to those used by the group, and assessing the adequacy of the disclosures surrounding the key judgments and estimation uncertainty included in the financial statements. Page 3. The group key audit matter number 2, measurement of expected credit losses on financial assets. The group recognizes expected credit losses, ECL, on financial assets, the determination of which is highly subjective and requires the group to make significant judgments and assumptions. The key areas that required greater management judgment included the determination of significant increases in credit risk, the determination of probability of default, loss given default, exposures at default, and the application of forward-looking information. How was the matter addressed in our audit? Our procedures in the main in this area included the following: obtaining or understanding of the models used by the group for the calculation of expected credit losses, including governance over the determination of key judgments and assumptions, testing the design and implementation of the controls over the determination of expected credit losses, testing the completeness and accuracy of the data used in the models to the underlying accounting records on a sample basis, and involving our financial risk modeling specialists to assist us in evaluating the appropriateness of the group's impairment methodologies, including the SICR criteria used, independently assessing certain assumptions for probability of default, loss given default, exposure at default, and the incorporation of forward-looking information. Page 4. Significant management judgment and assumptions are also used in determining the appropriate variables and the assumptions in the model used to measure expected credit losses. The use of these judgment and assumptions increase the risk of material misstatement and is therefore an area of increased audit focus. Our procedures included evaluating the adequacy of the financial statements disclosures, including disclosures of the key assumptions and judgments for compliance with IFRS 9. Key audit matter number 3, the market capitalization of the group, Number 3, impairment of assessment of investment in associates. The market capitalization of the group's shareholding in the associated company is below its carrying value, determined using equity accounting. This is considered to be an indicator of impairment for which a group performed a formal impairment assessment. How was this addressed in our audit? Our procedures in the main included involving our own valuation specialists to assist us in evaluating the group's calculation of the recoverable amount of the investment and evaluating the assumptions and methodology used, comparing the group's assumptions to externally derived data as well as our assessment of key inputs such as discount rate, evaluating the group's assessment of the forecast performance of its investment by comparing projected results with historical performance as well as our own assessment based on our knowledge of the industry. Page 5. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises information included in the annual report, but does not include the financial statements and/or auditor's report thereon. The annual report is expected to be made available to us after the date of the auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statement does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available, and in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appear to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS accounting standards and in the manner required by the Jamaican Companies Act. And for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the group's and the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing, as applicable, matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the group and the company or to cease operations, or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the group's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. Our objective are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISOs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if individually or in the aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. A further description of our responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements is included in the appendix to this auditor's report, the description which is located on pages 7 to 8 and which forms part of our auditor's report. Page 6, report on additional matters as required by the Jamaican Companies Act. We have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been maintained so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the financial statements, which are in agreement therewith, give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner required. The engagement partner on the audit resulted in this independent auditor's report is Karen Raghuber Singh. It is signed by KPMG, Chartered Accountants, Kingston, Jamaica, May 31, 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Raghuber Singh, and this is really a mouthful, right? We just hope that the ICAJ can pressure government to changing that report. Or the truth is, the auditors believe that it has to go according to the standards. But I think that when we set the Companies Act, we intended or that it should only be the first part, but which is 1 page. Now it is what, 9 pages? So we have to find a way to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, you know that our AGMs are special, right? Because we not only look at what happened last year, we now have the senator to come forward to talk to us about the company.
Good morning, shareholders. Good morning, team members. Good morning, board of directors. Morning, morning, morning. All is good? Wonderful, wonderful. So let me firstly thank everyone for coming out today. I'd like to thank JMMB for giving me the platform to offer service to my country. Without JMMB as a platform, without the support of the board of directors, without the support of my fellow executive team members and team members, without the support of my family, it would not have been possible. And my wife was supposed to be here along with my son, but I don't see her. But I have to acknowledge her because she really does give me that room to offer myself. And I believe Jamaica is winning. Jamaica is winning. And while we have challenges, we have to keep our eye on the prize. We have to keep positive. We're in a democracy, and yes, we will have spirited debate, but we, as a country, we have to remain positive and always be looking to improve the quality of lives of our citizens. Right? Would I agree with that? Yeah? Good. And we can see that some of the benefits of the work been showing up in our, Jamaica was just upgraded from BB minus to BB, Standard & Poor's. That means we're 2 notches below investment grade. And what them say, a rising tide? What? Me no remember it, you know? Right. Okay. So therefore we're working because we have to, businesses will benefit, our average Jamaican citizen will benefit if we improve the financial conditions of our country, which we have been able to achieve, macroeconomic stability. Now it's time for us to pivot for growth and to focus on investments in our people, right? So, but you know, we live in a world that is, I have to acknowledge my wife here, Sarah here, and my son, this is Wendy. So, the world is quite eventful, not true? A whole heap of things happening in the world. Eh? Excitement. Eh? And you know that kind of excitement is not necessarily good for the stability of the economies and the global outlook and the performance of economies. And over the past 5 years, we go through COVID. Then we went through Russia and Ukraine. Then we went through high spike in inflation. Then we go through higher interest rates being elevated, right? Then we're going through the trade wars. So there has been a lot that has been happening, right? And JMMB has responded by looking to build resilience into our balance sheet, building out our liquidity, building our capital to ensure that as we navigate this uncertain world, that we can continue and will continue to improve on delivering return on equity to our shareholders, improve profitability, and improve dividends to our shareholders. What is about that? You can clap the one there? Right? So that is what we are here about. So navigating all of this period and learning from it and building a strong and resilient balance sheet, adequately capitalized, ensuring that we manage our portfolios so that we can manage through shocks into the future without disrupting our earnings. How that sound to you? All right, good. So, as we go forward, we can look at what has happened with interest rates. In Jamaica, we saw interest rates spiral up when inflation kicked in, and it has moved from like up to 7%. Remember, it was at 0.5%. By the way, prior to COVID, interest rates were at 1.5%. You know, 1.5%. That's where interest rates were. Interest rates have went up to 7%. They are now down to 5.75% at this point in time. So prior to COVID, interest rates were at 1.5%, and the Bank of Jamaica was looking to drive domestic demand, right? That is where we are right now, 5.75. Now, when people talk about high interest rate, well, we say we have elevated interest rates because anybody remember FinSAC in the 90s? Remember? A high interest rate, that, right? So relative to where we were with 1.5%, we're at elevated interest rates, and it does impact our margins on our business in terms of your net interest income, and it does impact the price of your assets when interest rates are high. Okay, so this is what has occurred in Jamaica. On the Fed, the U.S. Federal Reserve, they have increased rates. They increased rates over the same period. They were right behind Bank of Jamaica, moving up. They have subsequently reduced rates down to in the range between 4 and 4.25, and their latest rate decrease was in September when they reduced another 25 basis points. The Bank of Jamaica has not moved since, and what we expect is that there will be 2 more U.S. Federal Reserve meetings, and we expect that there will be at least 1 rate cut before December of this year. In the Dominican Republic, they have also had a very challenging period in terms of interest rates and liquidity, tight monetary policy, where interest rates went as high as 8.5% and are now down to 5.5%. On October 1st of this year, the Central Bank in the Dominican Republic would have reduced interest rates by 25 basis points as following the movement from the Federal Reserve, right? Now, as we say, that's the environment that we're operating in. Over the medium term, we expect that interest rates will continue to trend downwards, right? But we know that we're working in a very uncertain environment, right? Okay. So what is our strategy? What we call our strategy, our smart growth strategy, right? One, we must ensure that we, as we say, manage our portfolio, manage our business, manage our balance sheet for resilience, right? We discussed that. Now, over the years, we have been JMMB, and from JMMB Jamaica, JMMB Investment especially, has funded the growth of our subsidiaries in the Dominican Republic, Trinidad, and Barbados, and the acquisition of our 24.5% stake in Sagicor Finance. So therefore, at this point in time, we now need to ensure, though, that they have matured as businesses, especially in the Dominican Republic and Trinidad, that they now need to be paying dividends to us up in the group as shareholders, right? Jamaica do it work, right? Trinidad and DR are now matured enough that they now can start delivering dividends up to JMMB Group, right? And then through our financial holding company, and then JMMB Group can do what with the dividends that we get. We can give our shareholders? You agree with that? Okay. We also have to ensure that we manage our debt profile. well, as interest rates moved up, you had to ensure now that you're managing your debt profile to ensure that you manage the duration on your debt and manage the cost on your debt. Because you remember, even in Jamaica, the Bank of Jamaica pushed up rates on CDs, market-driven, up to 12%. So therefore, we had to be setting our cost of funds and the rate at which we roll over our debt, because all financial institutions have debt, and roll it over at much higher rates. That impacted us also, right? So that is, we have to manage. And the efficient use of our capital. We have to ensure that we use our capital we allocate our capital in capital-light businesses, and anywhere we have our business or capital allocated, that we are getting a risk-adjusted return on our capital. So if we're putting our capital in businesses, or we're putting it in the investment business line, Mr. Christopher Walker, we must get a risk-adjusted return on our capital in that business, okay? In banking, Mr. Jerome Smalling, in banking in Trinidad, etc., we have to ensure we get that risk-adjusted return, because we must lift the return on equity to our investors. Okay, that is our work. Non-interest revenue. No, because of volatility in, and interest rates and inflation can move around, what you find is then that your net interest margins can get squeezed from time to time. So you have to ensure that you build out your non-interest revenue. So in other words, those are fee-based services. And that's not fee-based, that's not the bad fees we're talking about. We're talking about management fees on like our funds that we manage, pension funds, unit trusts. We're talking about cost recovery, where JMMB has to subsidize services, but we should ensure that we get the cost recovery on services that we provide. And any value-added service that we provide to our clients, that we ensure that we are getting, that we are increasing that fee income and diversifying. Not the punitive, not those nuisance fees that are applied elsewhere. Okay? That's not what we're about. So that is overarching strategy. Now we have to deal with our diversification, because we know that Jamaica did not always have a pretty story and be at a double B and almost investment grade. So we went about diversifying our business, and up to, at this point in time, Jamaica is contributing 56% to our operating revenue, the Dominican Republic 20%, Trinidad 16%, Barbados 8%. So you diversify across countries, because when you get it impacted in one country, then there may be opportunities in another country, right? And therefore, that is how you diversify earnings, but you also diversify earnings across business lines. So remember, Jamaica started as an investment money market operator. Now we have to diversify, so we went into banking, we acquired capital and credit, we merged our teams, and then we were able to get our unit trust, our merchant bank, which we upgraded to a commercial bank, and we're able to start other business, insurance, broking, remittance, all these other businesses, get into real estate, etc. Diversify your business lines. So banking, investments, and other business lines that we pursue. That's no diversification. So that gives you a solid base of business. And that also diversification comes with our 25% stake, 24.5% stake in Sagicor Finance, which has great export, which is in the insurance business primarily. So we have diversified our earnings profile, country and business. So we are solid and set for the future, right? So if we look at this, give a couple examples. When we look at our SAFI, which is our funds management business in the Dominican Republic, that return on equity, average equity, is 30%. On our pension administration business, that return on equity is 14.5%. On JMMB FM, before consolidation with JMMB Limited, 71%. JMMB Express, which is our consumer finance business, return on equity, 26.5%. These are fairly capital-light businesses that give you a higher return on equity, okay? So this is how we have to manage our equity, because you have some business lines that will give you lower returns on equity, some that will give you higher. How you allocate your capital to ensure that we can deliver higher ROE to our shareholders is very important. So when we look now, we have to make sure the capital is strong, right? We have to make sure we have the capital, right? So that we can ride through any kind of shocks, right? Right. And so over the past number of years, we've been very focused on this. And as a result, we were in the most recent numbers, our shareholders' equity is at $60 billion, moving from $55 billion at the end of March 2025 at the end of June, $60 billion. That movement in our equity was driven by SFC, along with our operating profits, etc. But SFC in their growth, their core earnings and their comprehensive income grew significantly in our first quarter, their second quarter of the year, delivering good returns and bolstering our capital along with our own returns from Jamaica, DR, and Trinidad and Barbados, right? But we must maintain strong capital and build in buffers, liquidity buffers and capital buffers over time, right, Mr. Barrington Rose? Okay, that is our interim group risk manager, Mr. Barrington Rose, who is on our case about this, right? Ensuring that we solidify, we build the buffers, and we ensure that we have, so that we can have sustainable, less disruption in our business. So we are positioned and we're confident that we can navigate going into the future and continue to grow our earnings and deliver the returns. So if we look at our capital for the significant entities within the group, next slide. Okay, so therefore, where the regulatory minimum is to the right, 10%. And where JMMB Jamaica investments was at 20% at the end of June, 16% at March 31st. JMMB Securities Limited, 39% against 10. JMMB Bank, 12.25 against 10. JMMB Bank Trinidad, 14. So JMMB Express, 21, right? JMMB Bank DR, 15 against 10. So you can see that we are more than adequately capitalizing all our main business streams, main business lines. Get it? Right? So we are ready and solid capital base to move into the future. Now, our results are driven, and we're speaking about diversification, driven by growth in banking, growth in investments. And also, what we saw in the performance last year, Sagicor Finance delivered $920 million to the JMMB Group bottom line after we cover financing costs for the acquisition of Sagicor, right? And as I showed you, banking and investments are our primary business lines that we continue to grow, right? Sagicor also delivered dividends to the JMMB Group of $1.2 billion for the year, right? So you see we're building the resilience in the business, right? Right, because we're in here for the long haul. So the banking business line, if we look at it, delivered 66% of operating revenue. Now, if you look back in time, this used to be the absolute, there was a reversal. There was the investment business line would have been delivering 60-70% of the profitability, the revenues of the group. Now, in this market environment where the investment business line was significantly impacted, what you found was a banking business line able to stand up, more resilience in that balance sheet than in the investment balance sheet, because the investment business line is impacted when you have real volatility. Because you have to trade, the stock market is down, you have to trade bonds, the bond market, there's tight liquidity, so there's not liquidity to have an active trading market. So therefore, your investment business line is impacted more so than your banking business line, and our banking business line has held very steady for us in this period. So that speaks to diversification, right? In the banking business line, we're able to, standardize, and we're able to roll out solutions and digitization, etc., across all 3 territories. Next slide. Then we have on the investment business line, we are on a good track for recovery. We did a lot of work in Jamaica and in Dominican Republic and in Trinidad, and the investment business line is back on track. Chris, can I say that? Yes. Okay. back on track, back into profitability, and we are forecasted to continue to grow the profitability of JMMB Investments business line in Jamaica. And the Dominican Republic, their team in the Puesta de Bolsa, their securities business line, has been doing a very good job of trading that market, which has its own characteristics, which is different from Jamaica. And they have been able to actively trade. While they have been impacted negatively on their net interest income, they have been able to trade their market and do very well and deliver profitability for the group and for the Dominican Republic as a country. So Jamaica has done a significant effort of recovering their net interest income, a recovery of over $2.7 billion year over year, right? And I must acknowledge Keisha Forbes, the country manager, for her efforts in that regard. She has led this. Put up your hand like this and say, I'm Keisha Forbes, right? She had a big birthday, I won't say what it was, but she had a big birthday. We wanted to just acknowledge her on her birthday. And she had a party on Saturday. We couldn't make it because we just come back from DR. But Keisha, happy birthday to you, girl. All right. A big birthday, you know. A milestone birthday she have, you know. Nobody don't want to know what the milestone is. A secret? You know, we load her up. Want to start here? All right. Okay. All right. So net interest income improved significantly over the year. The efforts of the team, our Financial Life Goal Center teams, who work hard and to ensure that we're able to manage our optimal mix of funding, moving away from more expensive repurchase agreement funding, deposits, transactional accounts, easy access, both on the retail business. And the team has done a really good job of being able to bring down that funding mix and bring down the cost of funding for us as in Jamaica, which has improved our NII by $2.7 billion. That is really good results. You can clap them, right? And then what we can expect is that to continue, because as they reduce rates now in the markets, we can expect those results to continue. I know the Bank of Jamaica, and we expect rate reductions over time, right? So Trinidad continues to be very steady in terms of profitability on banking, investments. There were two challenges on the investment business line through the volatile period, but they have been in recovery mode. We have a new CEO down there, Mr. Jeremy Lala, who is doing a very good job, engaged. I think he might have trading competition now. I think I saw it on Instagram, right? Now we also have our capital markets business line. In a very difficult market environment in Jamaica, the capital markets was able to deliver $50 billion of deals under the leadership of Mr. Julian Mayer, Mr. Carl Townsend in Jamaica. But what we are seeing is real opportunities emerge in the Dominican Republic for this capital markets business line. And as a result of the slowdown in the market and the slowdown in growth in private credit in Jamaica and of the stock market being in the doldrums, there is the activity in the capital markets have been fairly muted, and therefore, strategically, because we have diversification, we can focus our efforts in other markets like the Dominican Republic for the capital market. That's where we make deal, big deal, right? And we are very good, we're very technical, we're very strong in that regard. So capital markets continue to be a critical business line for us. Our private equity business line is another one that is on the focus for us. We've been able to really fill out that portfolio. And we have now 4 investments diversified across tourism, medical, and manufacturing. And the unit is now ensuring that they are now maximizing the returns from those businesses, and we're looking for new opportunities in the future as we go forward. So the real estate now, this is another one for us. And this is great diversification for us in Jamaica under the leadership of Miss Tracy and Prairie and Mr. Paul Gray, that we have been able to build this out, and we want to just kind of acknowledge and they have been building to build a standalone, self-sustaining business, not subsidized by JMMB or by you, the shareholders. they are creating their own shareholder value. So make sure that, right? So we have a video here.
A warm welcome to our valuable shareholders and stakeholders. I am Tracy Crary, Head of Real Estate Development at JMMB Real Estate Holdings Limited. Today, I will walk you through our achievements for 24-25 financial year and share what is ahead for our team. Before I do this, let's respond to a frequently asked question. What is JMMB Real Estate Holdings Limited? We are a non-financial subsidiary of JMMB Group with responsibility for real estate development. Our mandate is to monetize our land bank by creating high-value real estate development products. We manage the full development cycle from planning and design to construction and to sale or lease of the completed product. Our build and sell model allows us to either sell the completed developments or secure long-term leases before disposal. We're proud to report a net profit of $332 million in 24-25. Additionally, we contributed $760 million in income to the group, driven by rental income, gains on sales, and revaluation gains. In a milestone for us, JMMB Real Estate contributed $200 million in dividends to the group. These results reflect our commitment to delivering value to the group and to you, our shareholders. The first major real estate project in our portfolio is a commercial building located at 102 Hope Road and 1 Ligonier Avenue. The building comprises of 4 levels. Level 1 will house JMMB's digital branch, while the upper levels will be leased to external tenants. In 24-25, we began generating rental income from this location. As one of the newer members of JMMB family, we're proud to be making meaningful contribution to our group's revenue. The 102 Hope Road project is just the beginning. It's the first of 4 commercial developments we plan to roll out over the next 2 to 3 years. This year, we secured approvals from the statutory agencies to move forward with 2 exciting projects located at Horton Avenue and Harbour Street. We are now in the procurement phase to identify contractors and expect to break ground in the coming months. At our Horton project, we will develop a multi-story building comprising of 10 stories, including parking and 45,000 square foot of office space. This project will be a key addition to our commercial portfolio. We are also thrilled about our urban renewal project in Harbour Street in downtown Kingston. We will be renovating 35,000 square foot of commercial space, thereby contributing to the revitalization of the area. Looking ahead, as we implement the projects at Horton Avenue and Harbour Street, we will be expanding our project pipeline. In this regard, design work has already commenced for our properties in Mandeville and Montego Bay. These projects will further support the build-out of our real estate development portfolio. While we focus on our developments, our team will also actively manage our land bank through rentals and strategic acquisitions and disposals. As of today, our land bank is valued at approximately $4 billion. This will provide a strong foundation for the implementation of future projects. It was my pleasure sharing with you our vision, plans, and achievements as JMMB Real Estate continues to play a role in the group's strategy of diversifying revenue streams and thereby building resilience. Thank you for your continued trust and support. We are excited about the journey ahead and look forward to building a strong, sustainable future, one project at a time.
Well done. You Trace said one project at a time. Because she's very focused, right? Every time I try and say, why we don't do it? One project at a time, right? Very deliberate, right? Taking our time, evaluating our portfolio, and doing a very good job. I want to acknowledge you, Tracy, because you really built out this business line under the leadership of Mr. Paul Gray, our group executive. Right? Thank you very much, guys. But as we go forward, you know, we're also bringing new solutions to the market. And we have a return of a human being who we all love very much back into the JMMB family, Mr. Damian Hilton. We sent him out a street, so go learn, right? We kept tabs on him. And and Damian has rejoined the JMMB family. Damian was an integral part of the build-out of our SME and even when we never banked, Damian was there helping us to build out our loan portfolio, build out the practices of how to get into the loan business, right? The banking business. We didn't even know a banking license. And Damian was very critical and integral to that early development, and then became the corporate banking lead in the JMMB banking merchant bank at the time. And Damian is back now. He's now in charge of our payment solutions, right? And also products and the product portfolio, among other things, right? And has oversight for JMMB insurance brokers and JMMB money transfer. I'm sorry for you and Sharon, right? But so I am happy about that. Sorry to be like that, okay? But we have rolled out our Visa business debit card over the three markets in Jamaica, DR, and Trinidad. Them say it's a very good solution, so we're happy about that. Working on merchant acquiring, we got that in Jamaica last year. Trinidad anxiously awaits that, and I know that Damian will be having really interesting discussions with Mr. Sean Moses around that. We have our credit card, which is to come, and we're looking to hopefully be able to launch something next year. I won't give which quarter, but next year, right? And that is important to us. I have to do a little, so rolling in new solutions on a standardized banking platform really works for us, and we're happy to have Damian back on board in driving this effort. As we go, we have to acknowledge it's Customer Service Week, and we have to just acknowledge our clients and just show them the love, all right? And we have to show them that we are in their world, right? And there's a narrative that is built around the Bank of Jamaica increasing rates and reducing rates, and the banks not following the path of easing monetary policy and reduction in rates to their loan clients. So we really have to deal with that narrative and to demonstrate to you that we live in the world of our clients. And we try and protect our clients and cushion our clients as best as we can, even when it means that it impacts our profitability to some extent. But we have to protect our clients. So while Bank of Jamaica was increasing rates from 50 basis points to 7%, that's 6.5% over a period of time, right? The JMMB Bank in Jamaica increased interest rates to our clients. Remember, they increased by 650 basis points, right? BOJ policy rate, go to the next slide, because this makes it more clear, right? BOJ increased 650 basis points. JMMB on car loans went up 425 basis points, right? 4.25. So BOJ increased 6.5, right? BOJ reduced rates. Remember, then BOJ reduced rates from 7 to 5.75. That is 1.25% that BOJ reduced rates. So this, the left-hand column is how much BOJ increased rates, right? On the blue, how much did JMMB increase rates on car loans? 425, 4.25%. How much did it increase rates on mortgages? 2.9%. BOJ increased 6.5, 4.25, on car loans 2.9. BOJ reduced rates by 1.25% or 125 basis points. On car loans, we have reduced our rates by 300, as at April 2025, 325 basis points, and on mortgages, 140 basis points. So we have to clear up this and clarify the narrative and to demonstrate to you, our clients, that we are in your world. Okay? Everybody get it? So you know what I say when you go to the street and people that say, well, JMMB bank, no. Eh? Okay. So when we look at the overall market conditions, right? And this is my advocacy section, right? What we find is that as Bank of Jamaica increase monitor the policy rate, right? And the policy rate is in the orange, right? What you and then what you see in the blue line is private credit, right? Loans to businesses. As they increase the POJ policy rate to 7%, right? Which is that line that goes up to 7. You see it? And then they start coming down, right? The policy rate is supposed to go up to 7. Oh, that's billions on the right. This policy rate is on the right. The percent is on the right hand axis. So therefore, 7%, the POJ policy rate, they increase to 7. As they increase rates, you see the growth in private credit or loans to business began to slow, because when interest rates were low, growth to businesses were increasing. As the interest rates begin to increase and get up to higher 7, the growth in private credit started to slow and continues to slow, right? And inflation continues to, it had the desired effect of reducing inflation. So private credit has slowed, and private credit is used as a proxy for domestic demand. And inflation is within the range. Inflation came in at 1.3% at the last reading for August. Inflation is below the range of 4 to 6%. So therefore, we believe that, is monetary policy. There needs to be a look at this from the Bank of Jamaica, a further look at this to see how they continue to ease monetary policy with further rate reductions, because we believe that will give the financial sector, the banking institutions, reduce the cost of funds to the commercial banks, so that we can further reduce rates to our lenders, to our borrowers, retail, corporate, small and medium enterprise. Next slide. So this is the actual growth in private credit, businesses and households. With October 20, we can see October 21st, 22, this is around like recovery from COVID. Private credit was at 7.6 year-over-year growth, then 11.5, then 7.5 is down to 0.7% now. Growth in loans to businesses. Households from 15 down to 12 to 9.8 to 8%, slowing, right? This is an indicator of domestic demand and the economy, right? That we believe that Bank of Jamaica is paying close attention to, but we think it's about time that them get a little bit more proactive about on the easing of monetary policy and rate reduction. Another area that we want to speak to is the asset tax. Now, this asset tax has been in place from 2013. It was supposed to be an austerity measure between 2013 and 2016, because we're going through fiscal adjustments, which were necessary at the time, right? This was an agreement with the IMF that the asset tax would only be for 3 years. When there was a new IMF program in 2016, the policy commitment was to remove this distortionary tax. No, this is not a tax on profits, and that's why it's a tax on assets. So all we now make the money on your asset, them still tax it. So that's why they call it distortionary, right? And in 2019, following on the policy commitment, the government of Jamaica began to phase out right before the COVID period, put out a budget to phase out the asset tax over 2 years. COVID hit. We in the financial sector, including myself, who was president of the private sector organization in Jamaica at the time, went into the government of Jamaica. Dr. Nigel Clark sat with him and said, we due to the uncertainty of that COVID has created, that we don't know where the country's finances are going, leave the asset tax in place. When the economy recovers, then you can look to now start phasing out, because we will have more certainty around where we go into the future. Right? And therefore, this has not occurred. The asset tax still remains in place. Last year, JMMB would have paid, or no, this quarter, no, the first quarter, Patrick, $1.1 billion, $1.16 billion in Q1, right? And that is after, and dividends is half of that money. You know where that money could have gone? Eh? It could have reinvest and grow in building your capital and your business and go to your shareholders. And you know who are shareholders? Shareholders are pensioners. Shareholders are pension fund managers who manage money on behalf of pensioners, fund managers, right? They're our average shareholder. They depend on the income from their shares. Not true? Right? So when we're paying this asset tax, which is a distortionary tax, it is not fair to shareholders. It depletes the capital of the financial institution, and it provides a floor on what we can intermediate the rates that we can lend, because it's a cost to the business. So we're calling on the government of Jamaica again. I'm a government senator now. We're calling on the government of Jamaica once again to take a look at this. All right, take a look and begin to deal with this. Another area of concern is the pace of regulatory reform. Over the last 10 years, we have had over 100 new policy reforms and things that the financial sector have to implement. Best practice, good for financial sector stability and all that. But the pace at which they come it creates a real regulatory burden on us. And they come fast and furious, and we therefore can't plan and forecast for really keeping up with the pace at which they come. You know, because we are goody two-shoes. We are an example to the world. Our financial sector and our Bank of Jamaica, we are best practice. But we have to use national discretion. And we have to take into account where we are as an industry and to work collaboratively with the industry to sequence out and ensure that what we're doing does not cause too much of a burden on the financial sector, especially smaller financial institutions that really can't manage it, and then even ourselves who have to then plan, allocate resources, and while we're trying to run a business. So we need to find that balance with our regulators, the Bank of Jamaica and the FSC in Jamaica, and also in the Dominican Republic is also very challenging. We need to find that balance, but people need to work collaboratively to be able to sequence and ensure that the regulatory burden is not too high and the costs don't have to be carried and impact our profitability and our return to shareholders, etc. So we have made recommendations in that regard as I came together as a financial sector, the Insurance Association, Jamaica Bankers, Security Dealers Association, and we have made some recommendations to the Bank of Jamaica, the Ministry of Finance, and the government as to how to deal with this. So if we look at the stock market and what has occurred, right? Now, if you have tight monetary policy for a long period of time, what you find is this, right? The Jamaica stock market has been on a downward decline from 2021. This is the financial sector index, and this is the JMMB stock price. So we have moved in sympathy with the financial sector index, and the financial sector index has moved in sympathy with the Jamaica Stock Exchange index. The markets have sold off, right? And it's because you have tight monetary policy, right? And therefore, when we look at the growth in private credit, remember I tell you how that slowed down? No, this is what is going on the stock market side. So if private credit has slowed down, your stock market is in a doldrums. How do we change this story? Hopefully, as the Fed begins to, U.S. Federal Reserve, continue to reduce rates, that the Bank of Jamaica can ease monetary policy, that the central bank in the Dominican Republic can reduce rates, and Trinidad, because if the Jamaica stock market ever moved, then Trinidad stock market will move too. So we are expecting that, and we're hopeful that interest rates will start to come down and we start to some life in the stock market once again that will lift the prices of a very undervalued stock market and a very undervalued JMMB price, right? Yes, sir, thanks. But, so we have to declare a dividend, right? You agree with that? Everybody saw that the dividend was declared, right? And the dividend will be paid on October 31st. And that will be paying a dividend of 30 cents. We want the more, you know. But we have to take with time. So we're paying a dividend of 30 cents on October 31st. So look out for the check. Is what? Transfer, no check. Because we're digital. We're digital. Right? Okay. So therefore, as we look forward, well, let's look at our book value. Now, JMMB's book value as at the end of June is $29.50. That's the value of our stock, right? $29. That's the value of JMMB shares, $29.59. But the market is trading it at around $21 at the end of June and around $18. No, that is to be trading at such a deep discount to your actual value because the market is in a doldrums is very, very sad. Very sad. But you know what it means? It means it's a buying opportunity. And we know because the market now, who is going to, if we are shareholders, and I'm saying to the investment community out there, that JMMB is solid, strong, and will deliver growing profitability over the medium to long term, and therefore this is a buying opportunity for you to buy at this price that is such a deep discount to market. So when you get your dividend check, you know, every mickle make a muckle, put some in the market and take some buy back some shares, because when market conditions change over time, what you will see is the JMMB stock price is going to go. I don't know how much lower it can go, but the only people that can stop it from going low is ourselves, right? Now, how do we do that? We have what we call our shareholder buyback program, right? That we have been trying to make sure that we deliver it on a timely and support the stock when it sells off for no good reason. Mr. David Martin and Ms. Keisha Forbes and Mr. Christopher Walker. That we must support the share price when it sells off for no good reason. Is there a good reason for the stock price to be at $18 now? So why not about it? One sec. Give me a sec. We're finishing up now. So look here. But we have to show you how we go forward, right? So we know it's a buy, but I have to show you how we go forward. Going forward, this is the projected earnings for JMMB Group. We're projecting to move in our return on equity from up to 11% this year to our earnings per share of $3.73. Then next, the 26-27, earnings per share of $5.26, almost a 14% return on equity. And the following year, 16.9% return on equity with an earnings per share of $7, right? Now, our dividend payout ratio said we should be paying out 15 to 30%, right? We have been conservative because remember, we're building out the buffers and building up the capital to make sure that we can start now to deliver dividends in a sustainable way. Every year or twice a year, we want to be able to deliver dividends to our clients so that they can put pot on fire for their dividends, right? So we're forecasting a growth of 20% at minimum growth in dividends per share to our shareholders over the next 3 years, right? So we're growing our dividends to our shareholders, and we thank them very much for their patience with us over this period of time. We were paying dividends. We paid 25 cents last year. We're paying 30%. That's a 20% increase. And we're going to continue with that 20% increase at a minimum. At a minimum, if we do better, we'll do better. If our capital and our adequacy and liquidity and all of those factors are in a good place and we have our buffers, we're going to pay more. Right, Mr. Patrick Ellis, sir? Our CFO, when they come up here and ask him about it, okay? All right, so we're forecasting dividends of 36 cents for next year, minimum 43 cents the following year, and 51 cents the following year, right? So, but that's at a minimum. I am now committing to you as once market conditions remain the same, once we don't have, up north, anything can happen, right? So therefore, JMMB has strong fundamentals. We believe we're a really good buy. We are showing that we're going to grow our earnings. We have a strong, solid strategy. We're adequately and more than adequately capitalized. And therefore, we have been through the 5-year period of really, really challenging stuff that we have been able to learn and grow and structure ourselves for growing profitability. We're going to be focused on operating efficiency going into the future because we must bring down our cost-to-income ratio and ensure that we are delivering greater and greater return to you, our shareholders. So I want to thank you all for your patience with me and the team and the board as shareholders, and we will continue to work hard on your behalf. I'd like to thank the board of directors for their support, their guidance, the chairman, and everybody, all our directors who have provided great support. And also, sometimes they are very hard taskmasters. I want to introduce you to one, all right? Mr. Andrew Wright, I would like to acknowledge this man as one of our most forthright and diligent directors who really hold us to powerful account. Powerful account. Knows his numbers, know him history, can tell you what you did say 5 years ago. Okay? Right? And say, well, what happened to you? You never did say that one time. You don't say it like that, right? But he holds us to very strong accountability. We have a very strong board. And we have been able to split out the boards into a group board and a financial holding company board. But we have very, very strong directors that really advocate on behalf of shareholders and clients. So I'd like to thank them very much. Under the leadership of our chairman, Archibald Campbell. No, I don't know. Archie in DR, Archie is all over the place, right? The man work hard is a shame. Our chairman, right? So we want to thank them. I want to thank the team, the group executive team for all of their support, all their leadership. And, we go through tough times together. We work it through, and we have a solid group executive team. I thank the team members because they make it happen. Our team members in our branches, in office, in our middle office, in our back office, just thanking everybody for what they do in our client care, Michelle, in our client care, and all those that make JMMB happen. And I know that they live in the world of the client. Sometimes we can do better, though. Sometimes we can do better, right? So, and we will always strive to do better. Remember, we always have to take care of client them, follow up with them, call them back. Because sometimes we don't call you back, right? They call you back all the time? Oh, yeah. Well, Mr. Alwyn Cousins, stand up, Mr. Alwyn Cousins, stand up, sir, stand up, stand up. Mr. Stand up. This is Mr. Alwyn Cousins, our country client partnership officer, right, who just assumed the role. He's doing a fabulous job. He's a member of, he started as a client relations officer in our Phoenix branch, or Horton, I can't remember, right, and has grown to be a senior executive at the JMMB Group, has the confidence of his country manager, and has the confidence of his team. And I would just like to acknowledge him as a strong leader for JMMB, right? So on that note, I can't leave without telling you because this is our annual report for Project STAR. Okay? So this is our annual report for Project STAR because JMMB has been kind enough to be a major shareholder, what we call a legacy shareholder for Project STAR, a socio-economic program in inner city, marginalized, depressed, vulnerable communities, violent communities, and we're doing a fabulous job, and we are having great impact in these communities. So we just want to thank JMMB and you, the shareholders, that have made this possible. Thank you very much, everybody, and everybody have a great day.
Thank you. And you see how he's keeping our interests at heart as well as helping government. So we keep it up for that. And earlier on, he said he wanted to thank his wife and son. So Wendy and Dominic, stand up, let everybody realize. She keeps him in check. All right. But you know, and by the way, the questions will come afterwards, you know. So we know how you have actually listened and you'll question him on something. But JMMB is always special, and we, as part of our brand building efforts, we had a competition to submit jingles of JMMB. We received over 70 entries, and the winner was, where's Alex? Alex Staff. Where is he? Not here. Okay, but we are gonna play the jingle.
Our promise is to love and to care. We've been doing this for over 30 years. With integrity, honesty, openness as policy, we help making your dreams a reality. JMMB, your best interest at heart. We play the financial part. JMMB, financial servicing is our art. So when you're unsure where to start, call JMMB. JMMB, JMMB, JMMB.
Hey, thanks, Alex. And we'll now call on the man who will take you through all the numbers, Mr. Patrick Ellis, our Chief Financial Officer. And yesterday he spoke at an ICAJ conference to tell you how the role was evolving. So, fully evolved now.
Thank you, Chairman. Morning again, everyone. Morning, shareholders. It's afternoon. Wow. CEO, you wait overtime. But I want to thank him, though, because I think he did an excellent job in setting the context historically and where we are now, how we are performing, and the context of our numbers. So it has really made my job much easier in terms of explaining the numbers to you. So you would have received our annual report and would have seen that we made net earnings of 3.7 billion. But I want to set that context in terms of our numbers. What we're happy about is the substance of those numbers in terms of it's driven by our core operations. So we are driving our earnings from where we want to get it, which is our net interest income. You would have seen that operating revenues was 25.2 billion, up 6%. And our expenses was up as well at 4%. So we are growing our revenues faster than our expenses. I'll speak to our efficiency ratio later, but you know, the operating revenue was mainly driven by our NII, that was up 5% to 11.3 billion. Operating profit, our CEO mentioned the high interest rate environment that we were operating in. I mean, we saw interest rates coming down, 100 basis points in Jamaica, 125 basis points in DR. Still high. I mean, coming from the 1.2% and we are still at 6%. So we are still in a high interest rate environment. And despite that, we have been able to manage our margins on our net interest income and generate a 6%, a 1.3 billion increase in overall revenues. And our gains on securities trading, which also forms a significant part of our revenue, we're able to garner 5.8 billion. And I think that's really a creditable performance. We also spoke about core, building the core. And that core is your FX, your margins would have been compressed. That's driven by volume, up 7% to 1.8 billion. Our managed funds, these are off-balance sheet products, that's up 2% at 2.4. Our cap markets, we saw the slow in growth in private credit as a result of the interest rate environment, and our cap markets continue to do an excellent job. Dividend income of 400 million, up 53%. So the core aspect of the group's business, we continue to move in a positive directory, and you would have seen operating profits of 1.4 billion. So we are moving in the right direction. On our diversification strategy, just reinforcing the point, Keith had highlighted it earlier, 56% of revenue coming out of Jamaica, at 30.5 billion, 20% from Dominican Republic at 11.2 billion, Trinidad 8.8 billion at 16%, and Barbados 8% with 4.3 billion. So as a group, we are really diversified from a country perspective. So we are impacted in one country as we saw in Jamaica. We were able to garner trading opportunities out of the Dominican Republic, which bolstered our performance. In terms of our business line diversification, banking, we continue to push banking. In prior year, it was 62% in terms of operating revenue. The financial related services, which is our investment arm of the business, 32% at 7.9 billion. We would have seen where in the prior year, the investment business line was significantly impacted by the environment. The team has really done a wonderful job in terms of recovery. And while we drive the banking business line, just reinforce the point of JMMB Group being on a very solid platform. Now, just touching a little bit on the Sagicor investment. It was a large investment for the group, 250 million initial investment. We're now at 24.5%, the largest shareholders within the entity itself. Our book value now stands at 46.6 billion at the financial year end, 2.9 billion in earnings, but net of financing costs still 920 million. And we continue to see consistent dividend earnings of 1.2 billion. And we have noted that there's planned increase over time. And the addition to the capital, even at our last quarter, June, the entity added 1.8 billion to our capital at June. So the investment continues to be accretive for us. On our expense side, operational efficiency, and that's, as we said, part of our strategic objective, and as a policy, we try to ensure that our revenues grow faster than our expenses. Our efficiency ratio is not where we want it to be long term. We want it to be in the 70s to 65%. In the initial stage, we saw the growth moving from 22.8 billion to 23.8 billion. If you analyze our expense line, clearly you will see that on the staff cost side, we would have actually decreased by 2%. That is the efficiency exercise coming out of prior year. But the main drivers on our OPEX, when you look at it, 70% of that would have been driven by our depreciation, which is our long-term investment in our digitization platform and standardizing our processes across the group. Our IT costs, a significant amount of that cost are US dominated, and our insurance, which you would have seen insurance costs across the Caribbean skyrocketed for obvious reasons, just based on our location and the various hurricanes that had transpired in the past. So 70% of three items would have contributed to 70% of that. But as a long-term strategic initiative, our long-term target is to ensure that we can grow in a scalable manner. So we expect going forward in the future to see an improved efficiency ratio. On the asset side of the business, you should be pleased about the shareholders, we continue to drive growth in the areas that will provide sustainable revenues. On the banking side, we have a loan portfolio of approximately 217 billion, a 9% growth of about 18 billion. The investment side would have been flat, and that's a deliberate, as mentioned, in terms of a recovery on the investment business side and driving the growth on the banking side, where you have that sustainable revenue stream. And the plan would be to take advantage of, one-off trading opportunities. That would have been funded by your customer deposits, which show growth of 13 billion, lower cost of funds, and your repo, somewhat with FX attributing to part of that, but basically remaining flat. So we are driving the growth within the business on the banking side, while maintaining the investment side as it's recovered into profitability. Just re-emphasizing, we are a group that is heavily regulated. I would say over 90% of the entities in the group are regulated by either the central bank or the Financial Services Commission. Our CEO did an excellent slide where we point out that all the respected regulated entities in the group are adequately capitalized, emphasizing the point that the JMMB group stands on a very solid platform in terms of a strong capital base to deliver our performance going forward. In terms of our recent results, what have we done lately? Our June quarter results were released. You would have seen it showing a net loss of 686 million, and I want to explain our Q1 numbers so we can have an appreciation of that. We would have seen a turnaround in operating profit of approximately 1.2 billion. So we had an operating profits of 543 million, right? Revenues up by 32% of 32 billion, and interest income up despite the high interest rate environment as we manage our spreads on our net interest income. What would have impacted our numbers are twofold. One, in our first quarter, we would have had to take a full year's charge on the asset tax of 1.16 billion. So we are reflecting 1 year financial charge in 1 quarter. If we were able to amortize that full year's charge, just the quarter's charge, we would actually show a net profit of approximately 200 million. In addition to that, our associated company, SFC, would have had some one-off, while their net earnings was showed a net loss. The core earnings in the group was approximately 46 million profit. However, they had some one-off gains as arising from market conditions, the high interest rate environment, the uncertainty, which resulted in some one-off unrealized losses which are not permanent and temporary. We expect that to recover. We did have a similar situation in the prior year, and we were able to close the year at 2.9 billion. So despite that, however, as I mentioned, SSC actually added 1.8 billion to the group capital in terms of their other comprehensive income. So from a total perspective, the group, the SFC associate was able to add 1.8 billion in positive to our capital. So we're still quite pleased in that it is accretive. From the diversification, continues to be very positive. We continue to see increased contribution from our counterparties. Jamaica is now at 54%. DR 21% at 3.1 billion, Trinidad 2.3 billion, and Barbados at 1.3. So the diversification strategy continues to do very, very well for the JMMB group. The banking business line continues to be solid, 61% at 4.6 billion, and financial services 39% at 2.9 billion. We're very happy, and so we continue to execute on our strategy of building core, having that diversification, so where we are impacted in one territory, we can mitigate that in another. I think I just highlighted the SFC in terms of the first quarter, where they would have posted a loss to common shareholders of 251 million. We did receive dividends of 454 million. But as I said, in terms of the overall impact, the overall OCI, other comprehensive income, they were able to contribute 1.8 billion to our capital. So we're happy as this investment continues to be very accretive. On the asset side, similar, we're pushing the growth on the banking side. Now standing at 220 billion, 2.6 billion since our financial year-end quarter, year-end to over the quarter growth. Investment portfolio at 342 million, 7% growth. We mentioned the recovery there. And the loans are funded by the deposit of 5% growth of 11 billion of 238 billion as at the end of June. And our repos at 314 billion. So our capital also continues to be solid, no significant change. Actually, there is an improvement now, approximately 60 billion as at our June quarter. So, our regulators should be happy, given the state of our capital and the fact that we are in excess of the regulatory minimum. Just to put our result in some perspective, what you are seeing, shareholders, is strong growth in our core revenues. 32% growth at the end of June. Our profitability recovery of 1.2 billion recovery improvement year over year. We had a one-off net earnings loss from the FSC, but however, the capital, the overall capital impact is a positive of 1.8 billion. And despite the distortionary asset tax, which impacts our group, we had to take that full year charge in the first quarter. As I mentioned earlier, if we were to annualize that charge, we would actually result in a quarter earnings of approximately 200 million. Our banking business line continues to be very stable. We have a portfolio that is heavily secured. And, if you look at our NPL ratio, really below at the regulatory, the industry standard. And very important as well, the improvement and recovery in our investment business line, which was impacted and has now, gotten back into profitability. So the trajectory, as highlighted by our CEO earlier, and which is also showing up in our financial statement. It shows that the JMMB group is moving on a positive and the right trajectory. And that is my 2 cents. What I'll do, we have a short video just highlighting the presentation of our country counterparts, which will be Jamaica, Trinidad, and the Dominican Republic. I thank you.
A warm JMMB welcome to our shareholders, board members, guests, and my JMMB family. My name is Keisha Forbes Ellis, Chief Country Officer for JMMB Jamaica. It is my pleasure to share a summary of JMMB's performance in Jamaica for the past financial year. I will briefly touch on the economic conditions we faced, our financial contribution to the group, major achievements, and strategic priorities for the year ahead. JMMB Jamaica faced a mix of opportunities and challenges this past financial year, with a changing economic landscape, weather-related shocks, and disruptions to financial markets. Inflation largely remained contained within the Bank of Jamaica's 4 to 6% targeted range, briefly spiking after Hurricane Beryl, but easing as commodity prices fell and agricultural supplies recovered. As inflation remained within target, the BOJ adopted an accommodative monetary stance, cutting its policy rate 4 times, from 7% at the start of the financial year to 6% in December 2024. However, concerns over U.S. policy shifts and interest rate differentials resulted in no further cuts in the financial year. Although interest rates trended down, they remained elevated for much of the year when compared to pre-pandemic periods. Globally, high interest rates, coupled with reduced investor sentiment, given geopolitical fragmentation and political uncertainty, negatively impacted bond and equity markets. Further, within the local foreign exchange market, the Bank of Jamaica was active, frequently intervening to address supply-demand imbalances. This resulted in exchange rate stability, evidenced by modest point-to-point depreciation of the Jamaica dollar. These conditions underscore the resilience required to navigate uncertainty, and this was our priority as we leaned on our strategic pillars of client partnership, operational efficiency, and productivity, as well as a strong focus on people. Over the financial year, the successful execution of our strategies resulted in the delivery of a strong performance and a solid rebound from the prior year. Operating revenue grew by 19% to 15 billion, the highest it has been since the COVID-19 pandemic. This was driven by a 54% improvement in NII, owing to our strong spread management strategies in the face of elevated interest rates. Funds under management remained stable at 377 billion, with off-balance sheet FUM increasing by 5% as the team focused on identifying clients' needs, supporting them in meeting their financial goals, and positioning their portfolios to withstand economic risks. Additionally, the banking segment delivered another strong performance with net operating revenue of 9 billion. NII specifically increased by 23% as our loan portfolio grew to 138 billion, funded by an impressive 14% expansion of our deposit base. Notably, as the Jamaica Stock Exchange's market activity rebounded, JMMB Securities remained the broker of choice, ranking first in the number of trades for the 2024 calendar year and receiving 3 awards at the JSE Best Practices ceremony. JMMB Money Transfer delivered 361 million of operating revenue despite stagnancy in remittance inflows to Jamaica, and the team focused on widening the payment services offered and delivering on the value proposition of ease and convenience for our clients. For our insurance brokerage business line, revenue improved by 5% as the team was able to capitalize on cross-selling opportunities within the group and maintained high retention rates given the quality of the service provided. Overall, JMMB Jamaica contributed 56% of the group's gross operating revenue, underscoring our central role in the group's success. These results also reflect clients' continued confidence in our offerings and our service. the teams continued to focus on providing guidance, support, and financial advice to clients, and the strength of our resilient and capital-efficient business model. We also made important strides under our managed smart growth strategy. Firstly, we continued the integration of our country's client segments with the objective of allowing each client to benefit from the one JMMB experience. This was realized within the retail segment through the launch of our Financial Life Goals Center in July 2024, as the focus is now on distinguishing clients based on their stage in their financial journey rather than by entity. As a part of this reorganization process, our Santa Cruz branch was relocated to a larger space in January 2025, incorporating our junction operations. Secondly, we expanded our digital footprint, recognizing the cost efficiency of technological transformation, as well as the added accessibility and convenience it gives clients. To that end, we launched our Hello Future microsite in May 2024, which improved our ability to educate, empower, and engage clients throughout their retirement planning journey. This was followed by the launch of our digital onboarding tool in August 2024, allowing clients to open both bank and investments accounts from anywhere at any time. Finally, the team continued to execute on the Maximizing Productivity and Profitability project, which was implemented to manage performance within an environment of elevated uncertainty. By means of MPP, we were able to improve team productivity, restructure our balance sheet, proactively manage cost of funds, and optimize our fee structure with respect to both on and off balance sheet solutions, better positioning JMMB Jamaica for resilient revenue growth. These initiatives strengthened client partnerships, improved the efficiency of our operations while maximizing convenience, and increased our resilience. Looking ahead, the Jamaican economy is expected to grow modestly, anchored by the agriculture and manufacturing sectors. The medium-term fiscal outlook remains stable, as with the re-election of the current government, no major policy changes are anticipated. Inflation has been on the decline, and with the policy rate cut in May 2025, interest rates are expected to gradually decrease, encouraging borrowing and investment. The BOJ is expected to continue being mindful of the possible interest rate differential, adding pressure in the currency market, resulting in modest devaluation of the local currency. But short-term volatility is also expected, which would lend itself to trading opportunities. The macroeconomic outlook, however, is still one of uncertainty, given geopolitical tensions, wars, and increasing nationalism. We will therefore remain focused on long-term financial well-being of our clients and capitalizing on opportunities in the most cost-efficient manner. As such, our 3 strategic priorities for the financial year are clear. The first is continued digital transformation. This includes enhancing our MoneyLine application, expanding the offerings of digital onboarding, and the capabilities of our chatbot, Joanna, to address insurance needs, digitizing money transfer receipts, and introducing a self-service hub on our website as we strive to improve client experience and operational efficiency. In order to meet the changing needs of our clients, we will also be expanding our suite of solutions. Innovative and customized loan solutions will be a focus of the year, as well as new value-added payment solutions as we prioritize client satisfaction and convenience. Finally, we will continue to integrate our sales team to better deliver our value proposition of providing holistic financial solutions across all client segments. We will also continue to refine our service model, and within the context of the FLGC framework, expand pensions and insurance penetration and deepen our partnerships, especially in Jamaica's Northwest region. These priorities are firmly aligned with the group's focus on sustainable growth and position us to continue being the financial partner of choice here in Jamaica. Thank you to our shareholders, clients, and partners. Together, we will continue building a brighter financial future, rooted in love, respect, and partnership.
Greetings to our shareholders, board members, and distinguished stakeholders. I'm Sean Moses, country head for JMMB in Trinidad and Tobago. It is my pleasure to share a summary of our performance for the past financial year. The economic landscape in Trinidad and Tobago showed positive though modest economic growth. Softer energy prices coupled with declining energy production. The domestic financial system remained stable and the repo rate remained unchanged during this period. With these economic conditions, JMMB was able to effectively navigate and deliver strong results. The bank and the express finance entities focus on enhancing client access through branch expansion. Our investment entity faced a challenging interest rate environment. The team capitalized on opportunities within the TT and US markets while also rebalancing their portfolios for investment gains. Enhanced digital solutions improved our client experience and fostered operational synergies across the TT group, and all entities invested in brand and marketing initiatives. I'm also very pleased to say that with focused growth strategies and execution, the TT team was able to deliver enhanced shareholder value through its first dividend to group. Looking back at our year-over-year performance, some key achievements included growth in our core banking operating revenue of 7%. Banking group NII increased by 6% despite the increasing interest rate environment. The group's TT loan portfolio increased over the prior year by 12%. Net profits generated by the TT group grew by 19% compared to the prior year, and we are proud of improvements in client satisfaction and engagement across all entities. I'm proud to highlight some of the strategic initiatives that were pivotal in driving our success. We successfully launched the Visa Business Debit Card product to support the SME client segment and implemented digital solutions for our onboarding process to improve our client experience. We increased brand awareness significantly with strategic marketing efforts across the TT group. We drove engagement through various people-focused initiatives such as the Personalized Learning Program and Personal Development Plans. With these initiatives, we were able to deliver strong country results for the last financial year and create a solid foundation for sustainable growth and client satisfaction. Looking ahead, Trinidad and Tobago's economic forecast projects tightening of liquidity in the market. Inflation is expected to remain low, and the domestic non-energy sector is expected to drive economic growth. Based on these indicators, we will be focusing on enhancing our client experience by utilizing digital solutions to improve satisfaction and efficiency, continuing our focus on smart growth strategies, diversifying core revenue streams, focusing on underserved segments in the market, growing off-balance sheet revenues, driving non-interest income and opportunistic trading. Productivity gains will be sought by seeking opportunities to streamline processes and leverage technology for improvements where possible. We'll continue to focus on managing our expenses and optimizing our funding mix. These are some of our strategic priorities aligned with our vision to be the financial partner of choice in Trinidad and Tobago. We aim to drive sustainable growth and enhance value for all our stakeholders and the wider community. In closing, we extend thanks to all our stakeholders, especially you, our shareholders and clients, for choosing the JMMB Group as your financial partner. Together, we will continue to build a brighter financial future rooted in love, respect, and partnership.
Good morning, dear shareholders, valued clients, dedicated team members, and partners. It is both an honor and a privilege to address you today as Chief Country Officer of JMMB Dominican Republic. As we reflect on the accomplishments of the 24-25 fiscal year and chart our course forward. This year's annual report is more than a summary of financial performance. It is a testament of innovation and unwavering commitment to the people and communities we serve. Despite challenging economic landscape with high interest rates, Our subsidiary delivered strong results driven by disciplined cost, strategic portfolio diversification, and robust client engagement. Our loan book expanded steadily, reflecting our continued support for SMEs and personal banking clients across the country. We also saw meaningful growth in our on and off balance sheet portfolios, with consolidated funds under management and client base growing above 10%. These results underscores the trust our clients place in our advisory capabilities and long-term financial planning solutions. At the heart of our success is our people. We deepen our client relationships through tailored financial solutions, proactive communication, and a renewed focus on financial education. Our client satisfaction improved, reflecting the confidence and loyalty of our growing client base. None of this would be possible without our exceptional team. This year, we invested in leadership development, wellness programs, and performance recognition. Our culture of collaboration and accountability continues to attract top talent and foster innovation at every level. For the new fiscal year, our priorities are clear. Continue to deepen our digital capabilities, expand our product offering, and continue building a purpose-driven organization that delivers value beyond banking. We remain aligned with JMMB Group's regional vision to be a financial partner that helps people achieve their goals and live better lives. In closing, I extend my deepest gratitude to our clients, team members, regulators, and partners. Your trust fuels our purpose. Together, we will continue to build a more inclusive, resilient, and prosperous Dominican Republic. Thank you.
Thanks to the team. Let's see how we are operating. We'll now have a video. It's a video that actually be showing the activities of the Joan Duncan Foundation. And Kim Mir, stand up, let us see the man. All right. As you know, this is really important to us, so let us see the work of the foundation.
Distinguished shareholders, partners, and friends of the JMMB family. On behalf of the JMMB Joan Duncan Foundation, it is my privilege to share the impact of our work this year. Guided by our core values of love, openness, integrity, and care, we have remained steadfast in our mission of people empowerment and nation building. At the heart of our work is Conversations for Greatness. More than a program, CFG is the philosophy that underpins all we do. It challenges individuals and communities to awaken their inherent potential and embrace possibility thinking. This transformational mindset is the umbrella under which our initiatives in education, entrepreneurship, and community involvement flourish. We continue to invest in Jamaica's future through scholarships and bursaries, valued at over $16.4 million this year, supporting final year tertiary students and high school. Beyond financial assistance, our Life Accelerator program ensures that scholarship recipients graduate not only with degrees, but with leadership, financial literacy, and innovation skills. We also recognize that learning is about access and dignity. Our partnership with the Grace Kennedy Foundation supported the GK Campus Connect Food Bank, providing meals to over 250 tertiary students monthly. And through CFG in Teacher Trainers College, we are equipping Jamaica's educators to lead powerfully from the classroom and beyond. Through our long-standing support of entrepreneurial competitions such as the UE Venture Challenge and Junior Achievements Marketing Mavens, we continue to nurture bold and creative thinkers. This year, over 60 teams participated, showcasing solutions in IT, agriculture, and sustainability. Our partnership with the Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Leadership, and Ethics further integrates CFG into its curriculum, ensuring that tomorrow's entrepreneurs are not only business-minded, but also grounded in ethics and leadership. Community transformation remains central to our work. As a legacy donor to Project STAR, we are helping to drive social inclusion, local economic development, and community-led action in some of Jamaica's most vulnerable communities. Through initiatives like BizStart 101 for PATH beneficiaries, over 700 participants, mostly women, have been empowered with entrepreneurial tools and a mindset for success. We also strengthened our commitment to the environment, from mangrove cleanups at Gunboat Beach to removing over 3,300 kilograms of waste from the Kingston Harbour during International Coastal Cleanup. We continue to act on our vision of love, caring not just for people, but for the planet we all share. As we reflect on this year, one truth is clear: transformation begins with mindset. Through education, entrepreneurship, and community engagement, guided always by Conversations for Greatness, we are building not just projects, but possibilities. Not just programs, but pathways to an abundant society. On behalf of the Foundation, I thank you for your continued trust and support. Together, we are creating a Jamaica where every individual can realize their greatness. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Okay. You have sat and have been patient, and I know that you have a number of burning questions. And therefore, it is now your time to ask questions. And we'll have Mrs. Carrie-Ann Stimson. Why am I saying Simpson? She's there, ready and waiting with the microphone. And by the way, there are some questions that came in online, and Carrie-Ann will actually bring them. So,
yes, Chair.
Do you have any just now, or?
Yes, we do, but we can start live because we're just making sure we have everything.
And please give your name so that we have it for records. Your name.
Hello.
And people are online, so they would like to know who is in fact speaking.
Hello.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carrie Tape. I'm a shareholder. And
what Tate? Carrie?
Tape, Carrie.
Carrie Tape.
Good. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Could you turn with me to page 159, please?
Page 159.
I refer to your solar program, which is quite commendable. Congratulations. I love to see when responsible companies take the initiative and try to save some of our, solely needed foreign exchange, at the same time lowering their costs. Question though about this. I noticed that you are across the Caribbean. Is this program just slated for Jamaica, or is it slated across your group?
The emphasis right now was on Jamaica, which has the highest cost for electricity, I think, throughout the Caribbean. And Trinidad, it is not as popular because of that. But it is in fact growing, and it is something that we have developed the model, and it's something that will push throughout the Caribbean. But Jamaica was first because of the very high cost of electricity, and which we really hope homeowners are able to, in fact, take up. But yes, we will be doing it throughout the Caribbean.
Okay, thank you so much. May I ask, you said 2 questions, is that
Two
allowed?
questions, yes.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So can you turn with me to page 26? It's in the financials around the back.
Oh, 26 of the financials.
26.
Yes,
So
thanks.
again, your impairment loss on financial assets has been reduced considerably
Yeah.
from 12 billion, I think I'm reading that correctly, down to 1.8.
Yep.
So could you just give me a little bit of understanding as to why that amazing performance?
While I can, I'll probably ask
thank you
Patrick,
so much.
our CFO, the reduction in the
Because that's
impairment.
quite a turnaround.
There was, yeah, you want to come on there.
I mean, I hope I'm reading it correct. It's a good thing, right?
No, it is a good thing, and remember
Page
that
26 in the
page
financials,
26.
Down
Patrick.
at the bottom, the very last line, sir.
It's the impairment
0.8.
loss.
The
And-
impairment loss on financial assets has been dramatically reduced. I'm just not understanding what FVOC and what these securities are. And the loans on loan receivables, note 13, down
Isn't
from
it?
11 to 2.3 billion. I'm just wondering, exactly what that's about, just to make sure I'm reading it correctly.
Yes, so that's the accounting terminology, fair value through other comprehensive income, so which is the equity part of your financial statements. But the reduction in impairment, it's a good thing, it's a positive thing. In the prior year, we would have had 2 one-offs in our financial statements. The gain from the acquisition of Ivory, and then we made some one-off provisions on our investment portfolio. So we took those one-off provisions last year, and then we are basically normalized in the current financial year.
Okay, thank you so much. But
You're welcome.
congratulations again on your growth and stability in the company.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Chair, could we take one question online before we go to this gentleman here?
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Don't
The
leave.
JMMB Group mentioned launching credit cards in recent annual reports. Is that still on the cards, so to speak, for the current financial year? And are there any other plans to extend payment solutions across the Caribbean marketplace?
Oh,
So I don't know if Damien can take that or...
But I
or-
thought that the CEO had actually said that already,
Right.
but we can re-emphasize it. Yeah,
Please.
Damien. The
But
payment system.
sometimes we
Credit
appreciate,
cards.
Chair, that some folks may have missed parts of the stream.
Yeah.
So if Damien
Yes,
could
David.
just re-emphasize.
Credit card, debit card. Credit card. When?
Credit card.
When?
Thank you, Kerry. Good afternoon, everyone. So, as the CEO outlined, it is still on the cards, and we're aiming to have it in early next year. While we won't commit to a timeline right now, rest assured that it's on the brink of coming out. We know that you're waiting with bated breath to get this particular solution, and I'll also cover the part about if we're looking at the other territories for payment solution. The short answer is yes, and I'll go a little deeper by indicating it will be both credit cards and point-of-sale solutions. So more to come, stay tuned, and you will like what we roll out across the various regions.
Debit cards. All that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Damien.
Thanks.
There's a gentleman here. Please introduce yourself. Thank you.
Livingston,
Welcome.
Livingston, shareholder. Hear me out, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Livingston, give us your full name, man.
Yes,
Livingston Leon Young. Livingston Leon Young.
Oh,
Livingston
Livingston Leon Young.
Welcome.
LLY.
Welcome,
Yes.
Mr. Young.
I think first of all, big up the Creator, which is Jesus Christ. Because I've done great things for us, Especially Jamaica, the whole Jamaica, for throughout the year, we give thanks. All right. I was a boy, I come from country. I hear about JMMB, but you don't know about town. I don't know exactly where to find, but she'll get in job and job. I actually get a job at Super Plus. You know, I'm going to taste this party for by a party. I pass by, I see this sign, JMMB, welcome to JMMB. I say, oh, so I step inside first and observe. I like to observe. I say, oh, yes, sir, JMMB. So when, hold on, man. You have to listen enough, you have to listen, have an understanding. You have to listen for an understanding. So when I go in there, I observe, and when I get paid, I say, I'm going to start a account. First, the next fortnight I get a pay, I start an account. I'm going to walk up and, you know, see things are going pretty good. So I constantly, that time was what, 30 years. Now I'm 53 years old. So I just constantly say, I'm going to go. Anyway, the gentleman we talk about Trinidad Dominican Republic and the dividends. Hear me out, Mr. Chairman. You see, the Jamaican dollars value less than 3 cents to the US dollars. Hear me out. You see, over the years, business would have grown if the dollar returned. It will be a struggling impact on the Jamaican. But all we do is pick up the US dollars. We not talk about our money, you know. It's an impact on the Jamaican. It's been a struggling, like something stifled down. When you give a little explanation on that, please.
No, that is beyond this meeting, in the sense that the government, we don't control the exchange rate. What happened, though, is that we accept the point that you made, that the U.S. has, through the years, been stronger than the Jamaican dollar.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a whole lot of economic conditions that cause that. So this is beyond this meeting right now.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's when hold on, man. It's when the Jamaican dollar rebound.
Yeah.
We shareholders can smile. It's when the Jamaican dollar rebound, the business can smile. Look at that carefully, please. Turn to page 100.
That is one question, you know.
Yeah.
So you only have one more now.
All right, turn to page 62.
Yep.
Note D, financial risk. This is a group, you know.
Yeah.
Equivalent, receivables, agreement, and securities. You there, Mr. Chairman?
Page one, what?
Page 62.
Oh,
Note
you said 162.
D. No,
okay.
no. Note D. Financial risk.
Yes.
Transfer by securities. Government of Jamaica, other sovereign bonds, Bank of Jamaica, corporate bonds, financial instrument, retail, other services. No, an equivalent. What made up this 62,224,000? You have an explanation, please. What made up that others? An equivalent. Cash and equivalent.
Cash and equivalent.
Yeah.
Page 62 of the financials.
Yeah.
Oh.
No third two.
Yeah, this is the credit risk. It's required by under IFRS to disclose your interest rate risk and your credit risk. The note you're referring to is your credit risk, which breaks out your cash items that are fairly liquid, which is cash and cash equivalents, readily convertible into cash. So that is funds that we have on deposits. That's like with the Bank of Jamaica. Others are cash that we have with other banking institutions, financial institutions that are invested in a short-term instrument.
This dash here on a Bank of Jamaica, 18 million. What does that signify? On an agreement, what that signify?
That's cash on deposit, sir. Funds you have on CDs.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Young. Patrick, I'm not sure if you should go too far. This question may be for you, but I'll allow Chair to guide us. An online question here. The JMMB Group has extended its preference shares for 2 consecutive years for longer durations at higher costs. Does the group anticipate to see some leveling off in interest expense around, say, 2027 under the assumption that rate reductions will continue?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Because yes, we fund our operations through preference shares, and the market was at that rate, and now we expect interest rates to be going down, but we are still profitable even at the current rate.
Thank you, Chair. There's a gentleman here at the mic. Please introduce yourself,
Desmond
sir.
Fagan, a shareholder. Desmond
Repeat.
Fagan.
Desmond
Fagan.
Desmond Fagan. Hello, Mr. Fagan. Welcome.
Recently, we have had quite a number of attacks, cyber attacks on various companies in Jamaica.
Yeah, cyber attacks. Yeah, Gifford. Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying recently we have a number of cyber attacks on various companies in Jamaica. I know that there's an article in the report. What is JMB actually doing in terms of protecting? The company is doing well, and when they're doing well, you want protection.
Agreed.
Need somebody to say to me, what is JMMB doing in terms of protection?
Okay.
Right, and or you include the present AI in our operation.
All
Talk
right.
to us about that.
Yeah, it's very serious to us. We take it seriously, but I'll have our digital, our acting COO, Deputy COO, to actually answer it. Yeah. We're not hearing you, Gifford. Or is Mr. Gifford Rankin, our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, who... Gifford, come on. Gifford, come on stage. Gifford. Let people see you.
Can everybody hear me? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. All right. With regard to cybersecurity, JMMB invests quite a bit in cybersecurity protection. As you can expect, I'm not going to share the details of it because that's what our hackers are waiting to hear, to see how they can test our system, right? But that's one I think Patrick alluded to. As you see our IT costs that are tied to US, we spend quite a bit on it to protect you. One of the things is to pay keen attention also to all the things we send out for your protection, right? We tell you how to keep your things safe, not to be click on any links that people may send you trying to get your information, right? So it's one of the key things that we focus on, and we have a big security team, and we also use external partners with AI going through to make sure that we're good. Yes? All right?
Thank you very much, Gifford.
But please remember that the first point of protecting ourselves, it's through you. Because if you see, go online now, people say, oh, we're doing surveys for people over 60. All they want is information, your private information. Be careful how you click on these things. That is where we have to start the security. We have to be careful what we click on. We are the first line of defense. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we have a question from someone who I believe is based in Trinidad and Tobago. So we have Sean Moses online. We were just making sure that we had him in position before we asked the question. And the question, Sean, are you there? Can you hear us?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm hearing you, Kerry.
Wonderful. Welcome, Sean. Thank you for joining us online, as always. The question is, I have noticed the addition of brick and mortar branches in Trinidad and Tobago by JMMB. However, this person's view is that in Trinidad and Tobago, your competitors are actually reducing the numbers of their brick and mortar offices. What is JMMB's strategy regarding the addition of these brick and mortar office locations in Trinidad and Tobago? Could you answer that for us, please, Sean?
Sure, thanks a lot, Kerry. And again, good afternoon, everyone. So that's an amazing question. When we in TT sat down and looked at our client coverage across the territory of Trinidad and Tobago, we saw that we could have done a little bit better from a client access perspective. So we thought it would be prudent to increase that brick and mortar. Now, I know there's a lot of debate about the future of banking and whether there needs to be brick and mortar, and I will not be the one to give a firm answer to that. But it was clear based on the coverage that we had both in the JMMB bank operations and the Express Finance operations that we saw that there was an opportunity to increase that footprint to improve the client access and give us better coverage across the country. Hence, we would have opened branches in Princestown and Tobago for the bank, and we would have opened an additional branch in Samoa for the Express Finance team. And we'll continue to assess to ensure that we are able to provide the adequate coverage that meets our clients' while also considering our digital solutions to kind of serve our clients. So that was the basis for us expanding the footprint as we would have done over the last financial year.
And just to expand, remember that we still operate Moneyline, and they can do business. However, our presence was quite limited, whereas some of the others who are in fact closing, they have had much wider access. So we have had to increase our access by having a few more branches. But we are not going up to the 40 branches that other banks used to have. So we can assure you that.
Thank you, Sean. Much appreciated. Thank you, Chair. Gentleman here at the mic, welcome.
Thank you.
And your
Pleasant.
name?
Pleasant good afternoon. Lancel Bloomfield, shareholder. Mr. Chairman, in relation to the online trading platform JTrader Pro, when will this company participate in and allow its equity traders to participate on this platform for greater access to the market?
I think we currently did. Gifford, I believe we do. Well, anyway, no.
Good afternoon again. So currently, and in JMMB's policy, you know, we want everybody to have their the full view of their financial assets. So we don't use JTrader because Moneyline provides you the same access as JTrader. You have instant trading. You get your email immediately as it's filled. All of that and is available on the wonderful app, and you get the insights in terms of your market. You see your gain and loss immediately. So that's why we don't participate in JTrader at the moment.
And that's why we are number one.
Okay, probably you can take the next question. Mr. Chair, when a customer lodges money to his or her equity account, how long does it take for the said customer to be able to execute trade?
All right. So one of the great benefits, once you have lodged the money to your equity account, hopefully you're using our ATMs through your bank account and doing a great transfer on Moneyline immediately. You have immediate access. We also allow you to trade on what we call your trading balance, meaning once you're awaiting a settlement, you can use that to do a trade.
Okay, thank you very much. I have one more question. Could I just squeeze that in? Page 26, note 7, under expenses by nature. Mr. Chairman, in 2024, your motor vehicle expenses was $56,479,000. In 2025, this has climbed to that of $124,283,000. What has caused this massive jump?
Patrick. CFO.
So this is simply a cost of doing business. It's an increase in the number of fleets that we have across just servicing the group. So that's a function of the increase in operations.
So in essence, you have increased the number of vehicles in the fleet.
Yeah. So remember, you're talking about Jamaica, Trinidad, and the Dominican Republic. You're talking and Barbados. So it's 4 countries, and this is a group number. This is not just a Jamaica number. This is the entire group.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Chair.
And by the way, our platform has got the been number 1 in terms of trading for the past how many years? Certainly for the past 4 years. I say been said to me in terms of the popularity of the trading platform. So it's about the best, and we have always been winning all the awards. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. We're going to pause the online questions. I'm acknowledging we've got a couple of questions from members of the media, which we've answered. So we're going to answer those questions offline directly in writing to them. So we can proceed with this additional question, and
Okay.
Chair, you can guide us as to how many more we will take. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow shareholders,
Name?
board members, and so on. I have to first give the salutations. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
My name is Muriel Bailey. I'm a shareholder.
Muriel
And I just have
Baker.
Muriel Bailey.
Bailey.
Bailey,
Okay.
B-A-I-L-E-Y. All right, so my question is, as we all would have realized, things are going on now in Guyana. So I'm just wondering if JMMB has any projections to invest in Guyana and to seize the opportunity of what's going on there or not.
Interesting question. Yeah. Can I state now? In the sense that we have tried. It's a difficult environment to get into, and but we'll always keep our eyes and always seek opportunities to actually attend. We are noticing it, but they themselves are in fact preparing as to who they'd like to come in to share that. So, but it is on our radar.
Thank you, Chair. There's a question back over to this side of the room, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anella McFarlane. I'm a shareholder. And first of all, I'd like to compliment the company on their performance. And I'd also like to compliment the persons who answer our questions online. When I use the money line, if I have a question, I just write in my little note, and within a day or two, I will get an answer. Thank you for that.
And they appreciate your acknowledgement. I see them dancing around.
I'm glad that I'm able to say it now, because sometimes I ask some things and I don't know where to go, and I get a list of steps so I can follow. And so I've been learning a lot.
Yeah.
What I'd like to learn some more about, though, is the money line, because you just mentioned that it operates almost like the J Trader. But I know persons who do the trade, and they say that they can actually see the list of the buy and sells. But some time ago, I don't remember how long, maybe a year or more, there used to be on the right-hand side a list of buy and sell. So you could see for the day what was happening. But I don't see that anymore. It just suddenly stopped. I cannot see who is buying and who is selling, and the volumes.
That feature is still there. So Michelle, if you just get her name and we can just go through and check. Because sometimes if your computer is blocking it, no problem. And we're willing to show you on the app. It shows it even easier and nicer. Right? All right. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. McFarlane. No.
A gentleman
Next.
here.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, members.
Good afternoon.
I'm Joseph Crooks. Two questions. One, I took note that we didn't have a presentation from the Barbados contingent in the latter part. Is there a reason for this? And as the lady asks about the the Guyana connection, is there a shift in focus or something like this why we didn't have a presentation?
The Barbados, I wonder if the chairman would want to say something about the chairman of Barbados. Say something. Why we didn't have a presentation this year. And what we noticed, we didn't have it this year, and we'll think of it for next year. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Dennis, you want to, or yeah, Dennis is the chairman of the Jamaica International in Barbados. Dennis?
Yes.
Dennis Harris.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
It's great to see everyone this afternoon. The Barbados company, and as has been highlighted by Keith and by our chairman, one of the primary things that it does is holds our investment in Sagicor Financial Corporation, and that from that, of course, we get all the benefits of its profits and also the dividend. What we're trying to do strategically in Barbados is to actually develop the business there, and we have a small team that would recently be put in place in order to be able to penetrate that market, giving them the service that we do in Jamaica, in DR, and in Trinidad. Right? It's still early days yet. It's still embryonic in terms of what we're trying to achieve. So give us some time that we'll be able to communicate greater the results of what we're trying to achieve. And we've started off, right? But it's still quite early days yet. So we'll be able to share more with you in future. Okay?
Yeah, I note that they made a contribution of 8%, so I was wondering.
Primarily, that is from the Sagicor Financial Company, with the profits from that contributes to that 8%.
Number 2, real asset tax.
Okay.
I do note that we are pressing forward with it. What is the other sectors of the financial market saying about that?
Oh, what are they saying? I don't think our CEO is the only person calling, but Keith, you can let us know what are the other sectors.
Other sectors?
What they're saying about
You mean the bankers and the security dealers and right? So that's the taxes on the financial institutions, right? And insurance. All are united in, and we have been strongly advocating from both the Jamaica Bankers Association under the leadership of Audrey Tugwell Henry, Raman Small Ferguson as president of the Jamaica Security Dealers Association, and Sharon Donaldson from the Insurance Association of from the Insurance Association of Jamaica. So therefore, they have been advocating. There have been meetings with the Minister of Finance. There have been meetings with the Bank of Jamaica, and we are strongly advocating. And we continue the advocacy. We believe that it is a policy commitment of the government. It was showed up in the manifesto of both the opposition and the government of Jamaica that they would remove this distortionary tax over the foreseeable future. Well, we have to remind them. So we have to be strong. So we have to call all the radio program and tell them because we have to be strong advocates for this, because it impacts the country. It's not only the shareholders' profits, but when you have the cost of doing business, it impacts the cost of intermediating, the cost of doing business. The cost to the economy is that it will slow the economy. It's a distortionary asset. It's a distortionary tax. And therefore, we must remain vigilant about its being removed in the best interest of Jamaica.
Thank you. We look forward to that.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Booth.
Thank you very much, Chair. Over to you. We've concluded.
All right. So we have received all our questions, and therefore we'll now move on to the resolutions. So we're now asking for a member who is physically present to move for the resolution in the meeting. And resolution 1 is that the reports of the directors and auditors and the audited accounts for the year ended March 31, 2025, circulated with the notice convenient, be adopted. Can I have someone moving? What's the name? Did you get the name? Lamita James. Yes. Seconded? Mr. Booth. Crooks. Okay. And now we have that. I'll know. So the report and accounts have been in your hands for more than the statutory period, and we shall proceed to deal with the questions and them which have been dealt with already. Can we have the votes? All in favor? Those against? And Madam Company Secretary? Huh? Oh, we need to count. Oh, sorry. We just can't use all in favor. All in favor, keep your hands up. That was too far. Okay. Have we got all the numbers? Yes. And those against? I see none against, so let us see if we have any online, and we'll have 20 seconds to get the results, which will be shown on the screens. So therefore, we have 133 for and none against. Thank you. We now move for the resolution 2, that the directors retiring from office by rotation pursuant to Article 105 of the Company's Articles of Incorporations are Mr. Wayne Powell, Mr. Wayne Sutherland, Mrs. Audrey Wells, and Mr. V. Andrew White. Okay. Why, all of whom, being eligible, offer themselves for re-election. Do I have someone in the audience who is prepared to move a resolution for them to be taken en bloc, or do we go through the individual one? En bloc, and we have Mr. Morrison. Anthony Barton, sorry, and seconded by Delroy Bryan. And that, oh Lord, I'll get you for the next one. And the resolution that the retiring directors who are eligible for re-election be and are hereby re-elected en bloc. And we have the persons moving for it. So therefore, we now have the votes. All in favor. And please keep them up, and the persons who are counting. Have we got them all? Yes? Okay. Those against? I see one that apparently was online. So we have 127 for and 1 against. The ayes have it. Resolution 3. In accordance with Article 108 of the Articles of Incorporation, the following director, having been appointed during the year, retires and is eligible for re-election. I propose the following resolution. That Director Johan Heaven, having been appointed during the year, be and is hereby elected a director of the company. Again, we have Mr. Morgan and we have Raquel Codner and Mark Anthony Barton. So we have those moving and seconded. And we'll now have the votes. All in favor? You have it all? Okay. All right. Those against? So we have 136 for and none against. Congrats, Johan. All right. Then Resolution 4, that KPMG Chartered Accountants, having agreed to continue in office as auditors, be and are hereby appointed auditors of the company to hold office until the next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be fixed by the directors of the company. Can I have one? Paulette Josephs has moved and Karen Borland seconded. All in favor? Hold the hands up. We have to count. We have counted. Okay. Those against? I don't see any. So we can get the count. And we have 138 for, none against. And then the fifth resolution, that the amount included in the audited accounts of the company for the year ended March 31, 2025, as remuneration for the services as directors, be and is hereby approved. I ask for a second. Daphne Drisdale. And seconded? Carol Leslie. Carol Leslie. Can we now have all those in favor? All the hands up. Have we finished the counting? Yes? All right. Down. Any against? Okay. 127 for and none against, so it is carried. Okay, one item not on the agenda, and in which it's even a surprise to the person who we're going to focus on. And thanks to Wendy and Dominic for coming to share in this part. We'll now have a short video presentation.
There are leaders who guide with power, and there are leaders who guide with heart. Keith Duncan has always chosen the path of heart, guided by love, integrity, and care.
The way he thinks of solutions, how he brings people together in a spirit of partnership, and how he personally gets involved to drive the programs through to success. And that's the thing about Keith. He will support you because he wants the team to win.
Keith's leadership style is collaborative. Keith would like everybody at the table.
I started at JMMB as a trading assistant over 29 years ago, and today I am country CEO of JMMB Jamaica because of a leader who believed in me, stretched me, and pushed me to grow. He's a visionary, not just dreaming, but seeing a clear path forward and recognizing possibility where others see limits. He leads with a servant heart, always putting others above self, acting in the best interest of all, and pursuing greatness that reflects the very essence of who he is.
His life's work has never been about self, but about people, purpose, and building a Jamaica where everyone can thrive. At JMMB, Keith's leadership has been rooted in a simple but profound belief that there is greatness inside every human being. Through challenges and change, he has remained steady, putting people first, guiding with honesty, and making decisions for the well-being of others. As Jamaica faced some of its most difficult economic reforms, Keith became a bridge builder, helping to chart a path of stability and growth. His voice, his wisdom, his calm presence all served not just our company, but our country. Under his leadership, the group expanded across the region, diversified its services, and strengthened its governance, always with people in mind.
That's Keith's push, that unyielding commitment for possibilities and pushing beyond what people would think. A small firm that would have started at a liquor shop on the waterfront, pushing way beyond what anybody thought the potential of that company could be.
He comes straight from the heart. So it's like a blend of heart and mind. It's the values of the family, so we are service-oriented, right? So the difference is you're not just looking out for what is good for JMMB shareholders. You want to know what is good for JMMB shareholders, our clients, our team members, the industry, the country, the region.
His commitment extends far beyond balance sheets and boardrooms. Through initiatives like Youth, Project Star, and countless community efforts, he has given young people dignity, opportunity, and hope.
We've worked and designed programs that are about social development, such as Youth. This was designed here. This is Keith's brainchild. Youth has been heralded as a very important program for the upliftment of young men and young women through employment.
I am committed to helping, working, guiding, and doing anything I can do to help an individual, a community, a business, or a country.
He believes in investing in people and in creating pathways where none existed, in reminding us all that Jamaica's future is bright because Jamaica's people are bright. In 2025, he accepted an appointment to the Senate, stepping into a legacy of meaningful public service while maintaining his corporate responsibilities. Keith Duncan, the Honorable Keith Duncan OJ, as you prepare to receive this highest national honor, we join Jamaica in gratitude. Your leadership has bridged sectors, your heart has warmed communities, and your service has affirmed the faith in what is possible. You have consistently acted in the best interests of all, embodying the spirit of love, integrity, and togetherness that defines JMMB. Keith, your legacy is not measured by titles, but by the lives you have touched and the hope you have ignited.
I'm larger than yard. When you're inclusive and you do things for the advancement of people, others will recognize. One phrase you'll always hear from Keith is, all hands on deck.
When you come from that understanding, then you realize that we have a common humanity. Nobody no better than nobody.
He pushes hard. He expects the same of the team. He expects expertise, and he gives as good as he expects.
I have to do my piece in making Jamaica a better place. I cannot be blessed with this opportunity to serve and not serve. I can't just sit on the sidelines, and that's not my makeup. That's not in my DNA. I have to keep pushing, always forward, always designing solutions to move Jamaica forward.
Thank you for showing us how to lead and how to serve with both strength and heart.
Senator, the Honorable Keith Patrice Duncan. And Wendy, you didn't tell him about it. So I think on the 20th, he will in fact get his insignia, the Order of Jamaica. So Keith, we're proud of you. Okay, and as we in fact are coming to the end, just a little bit of information. You will see it in the news. I think Caroline has actually, in the director's report, she spoke of the reorganization of the company. And as well as if you look at page 20 in the notes to the financial statements, you'll see Financial Holding Companies Limited. This was all due to the Bank of Jamaica reorganizing, asking that the group company be separated from those that hold the financial assets. So you heard that the real estate company is part of the group, but it is not part of the financial holding company. So all that has taken place, and the final stage of it is now the board of directors. Bank of Jamaica doesn't want the boards to be mirror of each other, the financial holdings as well as the JMMB group. So you will see some changes taking place that will have to make announcement in the newspaper. It is not anything other than that. We will still be having our directors, but we'll be shifting some to financial holding and some in group, but it is the same JMMB. So when you hear that some people, we have to officially say they resign from the group company. It doesn't mean that they're leaving us at all. They resign from one side to come on the other side, all right? So we remain the same. We remain JMMB strong, all right? Okay. Now in closing, oh, by the way, when people say anything, we expect you to defend us, We expect you to defend us. And Keith spoke of the dividends that we're declaring. We want to go back to our usual dividend payment of twice per year. That is what we want. And we are going to be fighting to get that. So Keith, come and tell us how, you show us how all our subsidiaries and everybody has a whole lot of capital. So, listen out for more, okay? We take it seriously because you have to be happy so that we can be happy. All right? So we are not ignoring it, and we look forward to you receiving your dividends in your account by the 31st of October. So as we close, I would like to extend our gratitude to all who made this event a success. Our valued shareholders, we cherish you. Our clients who stick with us through thick and thin. Team members, and you see them in their black and red, and they are all over, and white. By the way, the Trinidadians will say that is their colors, So, our auditors, where is Karen and KPMG, as well as she's always in our corner. They're supporting us through the years. Our registrars, attorneys, media personnel, and media, you have heard what we have been asking for. And please, whatever we ask for is good for Jamaica. We are not just asking for JMMB. We ask for what is good for Jamaica. And fellow directors, thank you. Thank you. Over the years, you, our shareholders and clients, have made this organization an exemplar in the financial industry. You have stuck with us through it all. You continue to keep us on our toes, and we expect to be better for it. Thank you. This has been an informative meeting, and we owe a debt of gratitude to the entire JMMB group team for ensuring the smooth execution of the AGM. Special thanks to Keith and the team who, as usual, have given a very informative presentation. The presentations and the details shared with us today have certainly been instructive and useful. It is our hope that you have gained more insight into the group's affairs. But now I want to say a special thank you to the executive producer. From the start of, even before the audit is finished, should start going to every team member to get their reports and the service, so that, we take it for granted, but the executive producer. It would be remiss if I did not also extend special thanks to Susan Hendricks, where's Susan? Stephanie Log Lawrence, Carrie Ann Stimson, Jessica Chung, Sophia Hoslin, Janice White, Daniel McCoy, Sean King Ferguson, Kadian Johnson, Claudine Tracy, Marie D'Souza, Keenan Falconer, Ayana Duncanson, who worked on the annual report. So have I missed out anybody? All right, I got it all. So when people work, we need to say thank you. And a special thank you to Sharon Prendergast and her team from KPMG Compliance and Regulatory Unit, Mark White and his team, Visual Tech JA, and they were here yesterday for another ceremony, so they have been working hard. Michael Kelly from M Squared, Deck Events, Luna Ideation, Starlight Productions, D&I Apparel, and the Pegasus Hotel team who supported us executing our shareholders meeting. Once again, I thank you for your attendance, and please continue to follow the protocols. It's still, you notice that even though COVID is, we have a new way of life now, where we always wash our hands when we go in meetings and so on. So continue to keep safe. And we have some light lunch for us all. So see you next year.
For your relationship officer at the Knutsford Boulevard, Miss Carl.